This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks. With an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to Eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.
That's right, everybody. Everybody, secure those tickets. They're going fast. Yes, they are. It's going to be a fantastic event, the 19th and 20th of September. I've got the link for Eventbrite pinned up top for y'all to click on and check out. For those who bought tickets, thank you so much. For those that have bought my books on Amazon, thank you so much. Leave a review. Bigfoot Michiganrob. That's all you need to do. Type it in your Amazon browser, and you can get an updated copy today. How about that? Happy Mother's Day in an hour for all you moms out there. That's right. Happy Mother's Day indeed. It's going to be a great show tonight, as always. If you are new here, please subscribe to Bigfoot Michiganrob on YouTube. Texas Front Porch, the Brandi and the Booze Paranormal Podcast. Monica Rollins, Our Paranormal World. Donnie Cho Says Stuff, Paranormal Paul. All found on YouTube. So, yeah, check them out. You can become a pirate, mateys. Arr, join today. Join the many. Join the few. That's right. Depending on your point of view, what you get a picture of me with a bandana next to your name in the chat room. So thank you for pirate members. The super chat's also open. So thanks for that. You can find us on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, wherever podcasts are found. We're all over the place. More importantly, though, we have so many shows. Always make sure that you have the alert bell on. The alert bell. Give us a like, leave a comment after the show. Put out that algorithm. Like I said, we have a great show, and I'm going to get started right away. And I'm going ladies first. Well, I'm bringing up Brandi first because it's been 17 months since she last was on the show.
It seems like it, right?
It seems like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think you and I screwed around with this. Remember, I had that weird dream, and I went on at 4 a.m.
Yes.
And we had like a boatload of people came in.
Yeah.
Then I had Krista a couple times. And then I'm like, well, we got something going on here, man. So now it's been like a year later. We've been doing the show a year now.
I know.
Time flies.
I know. But it's almost hibernation time for me. Summer hits, it's hibernation time.
Yeah, well, Well, get your sleep in before this show Saturday nights. I want to see you a few more times.
Exactly.
For the summer, very good. Well, our other partner in crime at the Ray County Museum, the lovely Krista, and the lovely, what the hell's your name again?
What's my name? Oh, it's Kathy.
Kathy. I knew that, Kathy.
I know.
What's her name?
Yeah. Kathy's got a room for me at the Ray County Museum when I get kicked out of the hotel Thursday night. So
yeah. She probably has a couple rooms.
Probably.
Complete with bars. Complete with bars, like she said. There are some bars downstairs, literally.
As long as I tell you, girls, as long as my bunkmate isn't this guy. Hey, Texas.
I'm thinking whatever room we put him in, it has to be. Do you have a room with dolls? Because that's what we have to put.
Boy.
She does. I do.
That's
Upstairs
your
on the first
room
floor,
there.
in the haunted hallway.
It's funny though, because part of Bizarre News, I've got a picture of a doll head. Yeah, I got it for tonight.
Yeah.
And I hate
Hello
to,
there, Mrs. What the hell's your name anyway? Yeah, that's nice, Rob. Real nice.
well, that's I can pull it off, Tex. See, I'm very charming.
And I can take a joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
I've never met Kathy,
I'm
but
so glad I'm not going to be alone in hell. I am so glad.
Just remember, she's going to be here in September.
Yes, she is.
So
That's right. And you better be nice because she'll make you go outside and sleep with a bear. Now, I'm not even going to tell you what the bear is or how it got there, but there's a bear there.
Go ahead.
And we're going to wait for Kathy to tell us.
There's a bear.
Thank you, Keith.
There's a bear.
Kathy.
Thanks, Keith.
Kathy,
Mm-hmm.
your dinner's on me when we get there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Aww.
Oh,
Well, she's a cheap date, Tex. She's a vegetarian.
I
wow.
don't care what she eats.
She is.
And you better save me a spot on your dance card, too.
That's very
Thank you,
nice of you,
Keith.
Tex. Thank you, Keith. Keith from Michigan. What happens in Missouri, some of us might not remember. Cheers. Yeah. Well, we're all getting down there like 3 or 4 days in advance. So yeah, I don't know if I'll make the conference or not.
You'll make the conference, believe me.
I'll help if I have to drive you.
Well,
right next door. If you watch the video I sent you today, you'll see it's right next door.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about be all hung over by time Saturday.
Well, that's what I mean. If I even have to drive you, I mean, it's just,
yeah,
Okay.
We don't have to drive. We just walk.
Well, if I can't even walk in, I'm going to drive him over there and throw him out. That's what's going to happen.
I'll tell you what. I don't make any jokes about, hey, if I can't make it home from this one, we're in bad shape anymore. Because last time I did that was in 05 or 06, and we were going to a dadgum Halloween party 3 houses down from us. And I told my wife, I said, if we can't walk home from this one, we're in bad shape. And I'll be damned if I didn't end up delivered to my house in a wheelbarrow at 1 o'clock in the morning because I blew out my knee.
Oh shoot!
Oops!
Crazy dancing.
Yeah. So I don't tempt fate anymore. No sir. I knock on wood all the time because yeah.
That's not happening anymore.
No, that was no fun.
No.
Oh, like I like that voice. I notice your voice is getting deeper, Tex.
Well, it does that when I get tired, and this is way past my bedtime here lately.
Yeah, well, you're adjusting to your new schedule, which is actually not bad hours, but
no, it's regular hours now. I work Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. right now. But as soon as I get back from Alabama, I switch and I go to nights, and I'll be working 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and I'll be working Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Let's see. No, I'm sorry. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every other Saturday. So I'll have a 3-day work week and a 4-day work week.
This is the time that we need Tex to record everything.
Yeah.
Sleep deprivation. That's the key.
Oh, yes. I hear you
I
there.
need to be singing. I need to be doing karaoke at Daddy String Bass.
Yeah. Well.
Hey, we'll be working on that. We might be doing that when you're here.
You never know.
Yeah, it's been known to happen. We kind of might have a plan for that.
Kind of might.
What's karaoke?
Okay.
We'll talk about it off air.
You know I'm down. I've been practicing songs.
Oh, we know about you. You and your singing texts.
Oh,
okay.
I tend to have a good time.
I really can't get used to this new voice text.
Oh,
so
it's too sick.
It's too sexy.
It reminds me of Alan Allman Night Shift here in Detroit, Michigan. Anyways, it's kind of cool that we have Kathy with us. It's kind of cool you guys are at the Ray County Museum because most of tonight's bizarre news and a story that I'm going to tell before the bizarre news is all paranormal related.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's funny how those things work out.
Yeah, I just happened to be walking by and she snagged me.
Well, I'm glad she did. I'm glad that she did. Gets you on. Good to see you. And before we waste any more time,
Sir Brian Bowden is in the house.
Sir Brian. Yes. Sir Brian will be a speaker at the conference. Hello, Sir Brian.
Sir Brian will be here at the museum. Yeah.
Sir Brian, yes, he'll be partaking in our ghost hunt too, I do believe.
Yep, he'll be here.
Fantastic. So it's not too often, you guys know how I get encounters that I do from mostly cryptid, and I give a couple, UFO type stuff, and I came across one I hardly ever, very rarely, you guys, get a paranormal email sent in to me. I've had it for a while, but I really didn't want to put it on I was waiting for the right time to do it. So I figured, you know what, late night, this would be good because it's not too long. It's kind of to the point, but it's very creepy. So now that we have, the paranormal folk in the house, I thought I would share this. This guy, this dude's name is Cage. I mean, that's what he calls himself in email, anyways. He goes, hey, so what he says, man, Rob, I had this really crazy experience last year in 2024. So it's pretty current, which is cool. End of last summer. And this guy, Cage, decides to go hiking by himself, which he rarely hikes by himself. And I kind of tell people you shouldn't really hike alone, even if you know your surroundings, right? It's kind of, should always have a partner, or at least tell somebody where you're going, right? So it's something he wasn't used to. And he says the whole day was a normal day. Everything is familiar. In fact, he's done this trail that he went on several times. And in fact, this takes place, he's telling me in the northern mountains out in Georgia. Didn't tell me exactly where, but northern mountains in Georgia. So anyway, he's out doing his hiking and nothing seemed to be strange on the onset until he was making his way back to his car, as he goes on to explain. He figured, but he says, Rob, this was like a 4 to 6 hour hike on this trail, but he didn't have to cut through brush. It was just pretty much like walking around a pavement at a park or whatever, or the blacktop. He says the sky was already getting dark. He started getting a little worried, so he had to get back. And he says, man, I have to get back fast because he didn't want to be caught in darkness. What he didn't recognize, though, he didn't recognize the trail now. He didn't recognize the trail on his way back, which reminds me of a familiar story that I told some time ago as I'm reading through this, right? So now the trail is kind of unfamiliar, but I'm guessing, though, you guys, it was trails at night look totally different than trails during the day, right? I mean, it's like literally night and day. So the night had already taken over, and all he did happen to have a flashlight on him. But he now is lost. He has no clue how to get back to his vehicle. So this Cage guy knew it was already too late to go to walk. So he happens to stumble upon a cabin. He goes, Rob, I just stumbled across this cabin in the woods. Too unfamiliar, creepy sound. Thank you, Intergalactic. So
welcome aboard.
matey. So he comes across this cabin, he says, in the woods. He stumbles upon us. And it says it was a broken down cabin. He says no one possibly could really live in it. So he says it looked like no one visited in years. But what he did, though, when he got there, he knocked on the cabin door. No answer. Kind of looked around, and there was no answer. So he lets himself in. In fact, it wasn't even locked. He says meanders into here. He goes, it was very odd, though, because when he says he gets into this cabin, in the middle of the cabin was a perfectly fitted bed laid out like he was waiting for him, as he says. I mean, that's what he says, right? Okay. But it was odd because this was a dilapidated cabin, but there's a perfectly laid bed, right? So he's looking around and he says, wow, what if somebody does kind of come here from time to time simply because it kind of looked like this part of the home where cabin was lived in. He goes, well, it's dark out. If somebody comes here and sees me inside, I'm sure they'll understand, hey, listen, I got lost and I was to make my way out during daytime. So this guy goes to sleep. He tries to sleep anyway, but he could not ignore. This is what the part that really kind of starts to creep me out. He's looking around as he's laying in bed. He noticed this strange collection of paintings around the room. It was portraits of strange-looking people, all peering. It seemed like they were peering in at this guy, watching him. That's what he's saying. Each is wearing like a smile. And he says, Rob, I have chills running through my spine. He goes, but you know what? I was so weary and so tired that I drift off and I do fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So he says the next morning he gets up early and he was shocked as he looked around during the daytime with the sun busting in the cracks in the cabin or whatever. I don't know if it had windows, right? There was no paintings in the room. Not a single one.
Not a single one?
Not a single one. Not one painting. So this cage... Yeah, go ahead, Tex.
No. Finish your story.
So again, paintings, creeping them out, staring them down. They're there at night, wakes up, they're not there. So this cage didn't feel comfortable. He didn't even feel himself on his way home. He finally got out and he easily made it right back to his vehicle like nothing was going on. In his ride home, he had just a bad feeling all the way home. He says, man, what was happening with me? He couldn't figure out, was he dreaming? What's with these paintings? He knows he's seen them, knows he slept in the bed, assuredly, right? So anyway, he says, he goes to bed. Thanks, Scott, brother. So he gets home. He's weary. He's exhausted. He's at his own place, at his house. So now he decides, now he's turning in, goes to bed, crashes at home in his own bed. He says he really bustled. He tossed and turned, and he started having dreams of these paintings, right? He knows he's dreaming about the night prior, about these paintings. He's dreaming. And so he kind of woke up, kind of frantic, 5. He says, Rob, I got up, made a pot of coffee. And that was it. He goes right around 6:30 in the morning. Something inside his head told him to walk outside to his garage, okay? Now, this guy, Cage, he's been living in this house for maybe a little over a year. Not very long. He says, Rob, the garage, I never really minded the garage. There's a bunch of junk in it from the previous owner, covered in all these cloths, and he thrown some of his crap in there too. But he says That's the one thing that he's yet in a little over a year that he's really done anything with. He wasn't, it wasn't concerning for him. Okay, whatever. I mean, that's not me. I would have seen what was in there personally, but hey, whatever. So it never bothered him. He never cleaned it out. So, but something told him to go into the garage, and he doesn't know what it was. It's just this feeling in his head, intuition. I don't know. So he starts looking around his garage. He goes, then he starts uncovering, taking some of these canvases and these sheets off some of the stuff. And he goes, yeah, Rob, it was just a bunch of junk like I thought. Broken down chairs. You know, he said an real old, dilapidated piano. Bunch of crazy stuff, he says. So he's like, okay, that was weird how I felt to do this. And then he kind of sprung him on. Okay, cool. It's going to be my spring cleaning. I'm just going to gut this place and get rid of all this crap. So right towards the end of his little journey inside this garage, in the far left corner, there's another white, whatever, drapery in the corner covering up something. She goes, yeah, okay, I got to check out this one last piece of crap because he said everything was junk. He goes over, he uncovers it. He tells me as he's looking, he starts rummaging through this stuff. Rob, there was like 3 or 4 paintings exactly like the paintings that I saw at that cabin that night. Identical to it. And then he says, hey, that's my story. It's what happened to me. I don't know what the significance is. I don't know if I'm going crazy. Did I dream this up? Did I manifest this? He goes, I don't have any answers. He goes, I'm not an investigator. I'm just some guy. And this is what happened to me. And so, yeah, so I thought it was pretty creepy. Of course, he sent me the email like 8 months ago, and I just opened it like last week, and I just responded back something like, don't have any answers, but I'll do it on my show Saturday and see what the gals have to say. So yeah, that was a creepy email that guy sent me, and I tell you, I thought it was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
That is creepy.
I don't know. I don't know what it
I don't
was.
either. That's bizarre, especially when there's a pristine bed in the middle of this kind of dilapidated cabin, and then
Well, you know, I mean, hikers.
they'll do that.
They're some of the best people in the world. Actually, some of these hikers, they like going down the Appalachian Trail. They have these little buildings and lean-tos and things for people spending the night.
Yeah.
And sometimes people will leave things that they don't need. You know, extra blanket, pair of socks. Who knows? I mean, it could be a can of coffee. Who knows? If they don't need it, they'll leave it. But it was kind of weird when you said a bed. Made.
Yeah. All made. That's
you know,
different.
yeah, if it's all made, that's kind of weird. You might find a blanket folded up.
You might, yeah, right. And not no sheets, just, you know, boom, like you leave it, it's your cottage, you're getting away for 6 months and you leave it like that.
Right.
It did
You
have
know,
that
and
Goldilocks feeling.
yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Someone said that in there. It's like, yeah.
But I mean, what's weird is, could he have been sleeping and not realize that, like, you're right in between, you know, you're in a semi-conscious state,
Sort of that
and
right.
you're dreaming, but you're not dreaming. You're almost awake, but you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of lucid.
That happened to me last night, man. I was like, ugh.
Right. And that's, you know, things like that have happened to me. Now, I've never found anything that, you know, later on from him, but could he have been, you know, having a vision for seeing something that he should have been doing? You know, maybe somebody, you know, from the other side of the veil was showing him, hey, get these paintings, get them.
Maybe
You
he
know?
was astral projecting too.
See, that's what I was
There
thinking.
you go.
He could have been traveling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Jordan says, I never heard this word,
Hypnagogic.
Okay, well, we all read it. Yeah.
I'm like that too. I'll try it, and I'm like, okay.
It's too late at night for that word.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Welcome to my world.
But I mean, it just seems to me that he might have been doing what Krista suggested and what Kathy said. He might be projecting himself, you know,
And that
to that location and not even realizing it because he's already upset already. You know, it's kind of like he didn't mean to be there. He had to go somewhere. It was getting too late. Had to find a spot when he didn't mean to find a spot.
Yeah. And like he's getting tired, it's dark, he's scared, doesn't know where he's at, comes across a cabin, which to me, right off the bat, is kind of weird.
Right.
They always begin with that, the lost hiker in the abandoned cabin. Doesn't every horror story begin like that?
And they never end well, do
I went down that road. Yep. Like, oh,
right?
Goes to bed, it's all over.
I see the cabin, I'm going back the way I came. Just plain and simple.
And my thing is, if this was a dilapidated cabin, the made up bed, like you guys say, was odd.
Yeah.
Maybe he never seen those pictures. Maybe he was sleeping and dreaming that.
Right.
And then maybe those pictures were all along in his garage.
Right.
And they weren't even projected there. Maybe he didn't even project. Maybe it's
could
just
be.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be anything. Something was drawing him to the picture, whatever that was.
Right.
Something made him
go
through that process.
Right. It's just like having that reoccurring dream, and then you keep having it until you experience whatever that dream was.
Yep.
You know, I always had a recurring dream that it was a white farmhouse with a broke down old truck out front, and you know, and I kept having it until I was on a joyride with my cousin, and we were on these back roads just riding around. Bam. Saw the house. I never had the dream again.
Isn't that weird how that works?
Yeah. And I had never seen that house before, never been down the road, not even seen a picture of it.
Yeah. So kind of leading you in that direction. And then once you see it, it's almost like, what are they trying to tell you?
Yeah. And I never did find out.
Yeah. Same with those pictures. It's like,
overall, pretty creepy story. Pretty creepy experience.
Did you just poke your eye?
No, I got some caught my eye. You know, I'm starting.
Oh, yeah, your finger.
No, it's not my finger.
Yeah, it's my finger.
Eyelash.
I think I got something underneath my contact lens. I'm gonna have to flush it out. I think. Tex, what was your?
Arr.
Hey, Tex, give everyone your take. Let me. Man, it kind of burns. Hang on. Tex, your take.
We got this, Rob.
We got it. Not a problem.
The pirate has to go.
You know, I don't know. I'm kind of with y'all guys. I mean, it was either a dream state, half awake state, or possibly he was that, astral projected. I mean, I don't know if I've ever done that or not. I have no idea.
I have.
So tell us about it real quick, if you can.
I did it twice, and it's one of those legendary flying dreams.
Yeah.
I used to have this one just reoccurring when I was little, and don't ask me. I mean, I was like young, and I would fly. I would take off and fly. And have you ever seen those Chinese paintings with the giant cliffs, and they're all in fog and everything? And I would fly around these cliffs. And I would have this dream, very pure, and I knew I was really flying. I knew it. So that happened when I was little. But then when I was a teenager, I had these two dreams, and they were pretty close together.
Oh, God.
And literally, I left my body, and I looked down, and I saw myself laying there sleeping, and I thought, well, that's kind of cool,
Right.
And I said, I'm flying, and I'm taking advantage of this. This is really cool. I'm going to be up there with the bird. And so I just went all around the neighborhood. And the neighborhood, it was at night, and it was all dark, and the street lights were lighting up the trees and everything. And I was just flying all around, in and out of all the trees and everything. And then I just went back.
That's weird.
My body. And it was amazing. It was like I really did it. It was just amazing. And that happened to me twice. And I was probably 17, 18 years old, and it never happened again.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I have a dream. If I have a dream about somebody, somebody I know, I have to tell them. I'm like, this is what I dreamed. You take it as you see it, but this is what I dreamed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I've never done that either. I've never astral projected.
That was
I don't need to
who
be
knows what
telling
was
people
going
what I
on.
dream about 'em.
Well, you guys remember when I half-ass astral projected?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tech said he doesn't tell people about what he dreamed about them, and we know why. It's okay.
Yeah, you're better off not
I
knowing.
don't think we want to know.
No.
Just say it. I don't think we want to know. Zip it up. Zip it up. Zip it.
Oh, I didn't see this when I was
I
going.
had,
Johnny.
I had one about Kathy. She's better off not knowing. What
Oh no. No.
And this is why this show is not for children.
No, apparently not for Dottie Chose. He's tripping on mushrooms right now. Apparently, at the Church of
And he's got Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Thanks, Dottie.
There
Thanks,
we go.
Dottie. Thanks, Dottie, Scott, Intergalactic, and Keith. Thank you, guys.
That's
So
hilarious.
yeah. So
I don't know. That one's just kind of weird.
yeah, it's weird. I mean,
yeah.
what isn't? So with that being said, we're going to talk a little more weirdness.
Uh-oh.
Piece that I like to call the bizarre news.
All right.
I like that. It's very cool. Very cool.
I do too. That's cool.
She just said, "I love that."
I love that.
So most of tonight's show is going to be on the same premise, except for one other little bizarre article. Scientists explore brain glitch that is the exact opposite of deja vu. Have you ever experienced jamais vu? Jamais, Jamais, jamais.
I don't even know what it is.
You're going to find out tonight on Bizarre News, Krista.
How
Okay.
is something the opposite of deja vu? I don't get that.
Well, it's the feeling that something you are experiencing is new to you or alien, even when it shouldn't be. Most of us all will be familiar with the sensation of having lived a particular moment before. A phenomenon known as deja vu.
The phenomenon.
Phenomenon. But there is another lesser known variation of this which is known as jamais vu, that can occur when you get the sense that something that you should be familiar with is unfamiliar for you. An example of
Driving
this.
down that street.
Right.
You're like, I
Well-
don't remember this street. Oh, wait a minute. I live here.
Well,
Right.
you're very close, Kathy. An
Well,
example
yeah.
of I got some examples.
I think of it as dementia, but
Yeah, well, perhaps.
Evidently, my voice is tripping a lot of people out tonight.
It was tripping me too.
Yeah.
An example of this once happened to psychology professor Dr. Akira O'Connor of the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. Thank you, Mr. Castro. 5 new pirates, our mateys. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Thank you, Tex, for that creepy voice. Dr. Akira O'Connor of the University of St. Andrews in Scotland, who has since been working to understand how this phenomenon arises. He had been driving along when all of a sudden he got an overwhelming sense of jamais vu and had to pull over to remind himself as how to use his steering wheel and pedals. He was driving his car and all of a sudden forgot how to control his car.
oh God, that'd be terrible.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Well, this is the bizarre news. And his colleagues have since determined that this strange sensation can happen when something you are doing, such as driving, becomes so automatic to you that your brain suddenly snaps. It snaps you out of that automation and requires you to consciously think about how to do it all over again, reteaching yourself things you know how to do. The researchers found that they could reproduce the phenomenon on demand by asking volunteers to repeatedly write down the same word over and over again.
Oh,
around 70%, that's you're fine. Around 70% of those participating ended up having to stop at least once due to this déjà vu. Those who experienced it described it as being as though the word suddenly lost all meaning. A simple word such as dog or cat. What is a dog or a cat?
Sounds weird.
What is a dog or a cat? Some man said it was a spoon. You can experience this yourself also by verbally repeating the same word over and over and over again. The feeling of unreality is in fact a reality check, the research team wrote after doing several experiments. It makes sense that this has to happen. Our cognitive systems must stay flexible, allowing us to direct our attention to wherever is needed, blah, 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 blah. Lost in this repetitive task, doing repetitive tasks over and over for too long. So for me, right off the bat, doing repetitive tasks to me over and over for too long should not hinder or make you forget what something is. In fact, if you do something 30 straight days in a row, that forms like a habit, right? So, I mean, I can't see repeating the word dog a million times in a row where you're going to forget it or what it's like, right?
Starts to sound weird. You do it a whole lot. I've
Mhm.
noticed that. Yeah.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Keith.
Yep. Thanks, Keith. And Josh earlier.
So when you have to write that sentence over and over in class, don't you remember having to do that? That one hit me when you said that. Writing something like, oh no, I had to.
Okay, first of all, safety first. Let's not try this while we're driving.
Yeah, right.
No.
Don't start repeating the words over and over and over again while you're driving. Thank you. It's a public service announcement for everyone. Thank you.
I've had to write many a sentence in my time.
Me too.
Yeah. I had to go through the chalkboard and I had to hold the eraser on the board with my nose. For the entire period
Maybe
of class.
maybe they were abducted by aliens and it wiped their brains out.
You know, I think we've talked about this before. Like when you're driving somewhere and then you totally don't know how you ended up where you needed to be.
Talk
You're like,
about-
how did I
All of a
get
sudden
there?
that street's not familiar that you've been driving down. All of a sudden it's like, well, where am I? And then you come
Where
back
am I?
and go,
What did I pass my turn? You know, because you get off on some, you start thinking about something else and you're so far off on that subject, you have no idea when you snap back where you're at.
Yeah.
Right.
I had something similar happen to me maybe a couple of years ago where I was driving. I don't know, let's call it Home Depot. I don't remember where I was going. Maybe that's the reason why I forgot where the hell I was going. And that happened. I'm driving in my car and I'm thinking, where am I going? And I've been on the road for 12, 15 minutes. Then all of a sudden it dawned on me, I had no idea where I was going.
Mm.
And I knew, and the only thing that saved me was when I looked down my right seat and there was a piece of paper with a bunch of things that I wrote down to buy at the Home Depot. Then all of a sudden it jarred my brain. Oh, I'm going to the Home Depot. But the crazy thing is I was driving in the opposite direction of where the Home Depot actually was.
You know what this actually sounds like to me? For everybody? Menopause. Just saying.
Or dementia. It's coming. It's coming,
You know,
folks.
I got
That's some serious ADHD going on.
right. But I got to tell you guys something too that's really strange about
Yeah, what?
where I work. This is really strange. Now, you'll have to go to the storeroom, right? And we have to do it several times during the day. But I'm telling you, I'm not the only one who does this. They get to the door of the storeroom and totally forget what they were going in the storeroom for. This happens to everyone all day long.
Yeah.
Just you hit that doorway and you're like, what did I come here to get?
Yep.
And it's just that particular doorway. Now tell me what that's about.
Well, I've done that a lot. You
Yeah,
know,
but I'm not the
I'll
only
be-
one that's
I'll
doing it. I mean, it happens
Yeah.
to all
Everybody.
people sometime during the day.
I'll be talking about something and go, the hell was I just talking about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where's I going with that?
Just
Menopause
totally
text. Menopause.
Menopause.
That's menopause.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
menopause.
Well, I am very familiar with you doing that, Tex. You do it quite often. I've
I
noticed.
do. I do it all the time. You know, it got so bad. No kidding. A couple of years ago, my wife was like, you know, I'm getting kind of worried about you. You're forgetting a lot of stuff. I'm like, well, I don't think there's anything wrong with me, but you know,
Hey,
You still do that, Tex, honestly, because I'll be
I know.
talking to you and you're like, what was I saying?
Yeah.
oh, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you guys this one, and this just happened just this week. I'm running around my house looking for the keys to my truck.
They were in your hand.
They were looped on my pinky finger. Yeah, I swear.
Oh, hey, where's my phone? I'm
It's
holding
in
on
my
to it.
hand.
Yep.
And
Or
you
in
know
my
what's-
pocket.
Were you
And you know,
glasses?
and I don't.
Glasses on top of the head. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're on your head.
Yep.
And you know what sucks is a lot of times I'm so like when I go to a store, I got my, if I'm, like using a debit card or something, I take out my wallet, I put it on the counter, then I put my car keys there, and then I'll put something else there. Like all these things I should not have out in public display. Then when I leave the store, half the time I forget something. One time I forgot my car keys laying on the counter.
Mhm.
I mean, I do that unfortunately quite often because the thing is, I got so much crap in my hands on the counter, and I'm thinking about what I'm doing next that you
Mhm.
forget about what's in front of you.
That's true.
And I operate way too fast. I'm just always ahead of myself, and I got to slow down.
Yeah,
I forgot- I've
I'm
left-
guilty of that. I do that a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do that
Terrible.
too.
I don't know.
How about
I-
when you
I-
go to the store? How about when you go to the store, you walk in, you go, the hell did I drive over here for?
Well, yeah, no, absolutely.
Or you remember when you walk in, but then you see something else and call squirrel, and then you
Yeah.
forget to get what you were supposed to get in the first place and walk out without it.
Or you buy that thing that caught your eye, and then you get home. Oh crap! I forgot to buy the gallon of milk or whatever.
Exactly. That's what I went for. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Have I done that? Yeah. Have I had to go back to the store? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hated myself the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah. And I've left my
I've
debit
actually-
card on the counter. I've left phone, keys, wallet.
I don't even
counter.
want to talk about it.
Let me tell you a
You're gonna
story.
start
I'm going to
telling
tell you a
stories,
story
and I don't-
about this
no,
one here,
no,
forgetting.
No,
We
no.
were on our way to
No,
Indiana
no.
Reformatory for a ghost hunt. We got about, I don't know, maybe an hour out. We had to stop.
This is when you know someone
And-
too well.
And this is 3 cars. There was 3 of us. There were so many of us going. There was 3 carloads. Okay. So we all stop at this Casey's gas station. And
Tasty.
yeah, everybody goes.
Casey's in Hamilton.
Oh,
on
Casey's.
36.
Yes.
I'll never forget it.
I won't either. So everybody goes in, does their thing, get out back driving. Kathy was riding with Mark, or no,
Yeah.
Mark was riding with you.
Yeah, I was driving.
Get 20 miles down the highway, and I get a phone call from Kathy. Shit, I forgot my wallet, my
It was
phone,
my
the phone,
phone.
my phone at Casey's. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So she turns around, goes all the way back to Casey's. We pull off at the next gas station and wait well over an hour for her to catch up to us because she forgot her phone at Casey's at the gas station.
Thank
And
God they had it.
yeah, they did.
Oh god.
It's those small towns. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. That's not the first time.
You didn't even add that part. Yeah.
So we get that.
Oh my
I like
goodness.
that story.
I can't say I drove that far, but yeah, I've done stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, that
Mhm.
was the worst one.
And
Yeah.
and it didn't matter what age I was. I've just done that stuff my whole life. It doesn't even
Well,
matter.
I'll tell y'all a little story on oh crap, what was her name?
Right about that.
Yeah, we're experiencing it right now.
Ta-da!
Right. Oh, Josh and Marianne, Tip of TV. They came down to Brown Springs, right? Get all the way to they get about halfway there, I think it was. And you got to remember, they come from Utah or working Utah, and they get, I think, almost all the way there, and I get a call. she forgot her boots.
Oh, come on.
She didn't have nothing but flip flops. I'm like, I had to
Sucks
bring her
be
my
you.
wife's hiking boots. I said, "What size are you?" You know, I brought her my wife's hiking boots for the weekend.
I'm go to the store.
Something
Yeah.
similar happened to me when we went to Tennessee. Same thing. I had
Yep,
my
I did.
boots. They were sitting by the door, you know, and all I had was my very best pair of shoes. So
Yep.
I had those on my feet and we went. And of course I needed my boots. So what did I do? It was 10:55 p.m. and every Walmart closed at 11. I pull in, I run in. I said, I just got to get one thing. He goes, you got 5 minutes. So I went and bought me an old pair of well, a new old ugly pair of shoes at Walmart. So I at least had those the next morning.
Yep.
I'm telling you, I've done that too.
I
I've
have no.
had them laid out. I mean, I even thought about them, put them out, and stuff.
I have no kidding. Went on a fishing trip. Forgot my tackle box.
Yeah.
And
That's kind of
was going-
important.
And was going for no reason but to go fishing.
Oh no.
Well, I guess I can't fish, so I'll just go look for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh dang.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, forgetfulness and being too busy at once. One quick story I'll tell you guys, and we'll move on. I always tell you, we leave things on counters, and I left my debit card on the counter of the gas station. But I ended up paying cash for my gas. I said, "Oh, I'll just pay cash. It's only like $10 or $12. Hey, hell, I'll just give you cash." So I went out, pumped, came back in, and I left my debit card like sitting at the counter. So I come back into the gas station for something. Don't realize I left my card on the counter. The guy in front of me, and my debit card is like an aqua green. You can distinctly see it, and it looked. I said, "Man, that's funny. He's got a card like mine." Gave it to the guy to pay for his gas with my card. The gas station attendant knows my card too, because I know him. I know him for like 2 years now. He's been working there. He goes, "Wait a minute, this ain't your card. It's the dude in back his card." I'm like, "What?" I look at my wallet, my card's gone. And I thought it was my card. I said, "You son of a blah blah blah." He tried to use my card. So we were gonna call the cops, but I'm not gonna hold this guy back. And he just ran out the door and took off. Now that scared the hell out of me about me leaving crap around.
No, that's
The guy right back, and he scooped it up and went to pay his gas with my card, knowing it's my car. He knows I left it there. This guy, man, I wanted him.
piece of trash.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, so bad things can happen when you kind of
Oh yeah.
what's going on upstairs.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay,
panic.
so have you this question for everybody? Has any of you had something like this happen? Couldn't find my car keys either. You know, and I'm looking and looking, and I'm late for work, and I'm starting to say bad words, all kinds of things, and then I hear my dad's voice come to me and say, "Brandi, they're on the table."
Oh wow, no, never. That's cool.
Has anybody had that happen? I've had that happen. My dad told me where my keys were because I was running around frantic looking for these keys.
He's looking out for you.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, no, that's a great one.
You know, and I'm like, how can that be my dad? Because my mom had to find everything while he was alive. You know, why would my dad know where my keys are? Usually, you know, it'd be my mom telling me. But my dad was there to tell me where my keys were. So I found that kind of cool, but kind of a little unnerving at that time. I was like, well, I can't stop and dwell on this now. We'll talk about it later, you know, and then I left for work. But I found that was really cool. And I was just wondering if anybody else had, you know, something like that happen, help them find something, or, you know, at least wake you up and say, hey, you need to go down that road.
That's really cool.
Does hearing your wife's voice followed by slapping the back of the head count?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, I told you guys a story. I'm not going to get into that. Remember that little piece from my dad's American flag who passed away?
I do.
And there was a little piece I had to put in, and it's only to hold up the flag. And I lost it, and I looked for hours. Then I went to the basement at my mom's place, and I'm like, Dad, you know, one last college try. I'm going to go out there, man. Can you help me out? And a little glint, and there it was. And I looked for hours for that thing.
Yeah.
So
I've
he
had
had
that
something
happen.
to do with that, you know.
Yeah.
I've had that happen, and you just kind of go, please, just show me where it is, Boom.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got one other.
Had a
I
voice.
got one other quick one. Then we'll move on. We could probably do this all night now.
Probably.
I bought a new cell phone. This happened to me 3 or 4 years ago. I lost my cell phone, and this time I really did lose it, and I couldn't find it. I waited 2 or 3 days. I said, "Yeah, I guess I lost it." I mean, I canceled service, and didn't know where it was. Bought a new phone, and so I went to take some empties back to the store. Some beer cases. First case I pick up, my phone is sitting on top in the returnable case. How it got there, I don't know.
Ah.
Oh,
Oh boy, yeah, it was. Yeah, this
No.
is me being
Well,
yeah.
now this is different. Have y'all ever lost something and found it, days or weeks or months or years later?
Mhm.
A lot much like Rob has,
Yeah.
and gone, there's no way this could have gotten there. I didn't put this
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brandi.
Actually, it was an earring. I with my earrings, I take them off and I have a specific jewelry box that I put my earrings in so I don't lose them. I always, put them in this jewelry box, especially my good ones. And I put them in there. I remember putting them in the box. But then I go back, like a week or two later, I'm going to wear my good earrings. One's in there and one's not. And I could never, ever, ever, ever find it. Ever. And then probably about 6-7 months later, it's laying right next to my jewelry box.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Not in the jewelry box, next to the jewelry box.
Wow. So I got a crazy one for you.
Yeah.
So this has been years ago. My friend's son was leaving to go to work, and he was in a hurry. And and I've talked about this house before, where I had my first paranormal experiences.
Mm.
But he threw one of those frozen burritos in the microwave to heat up. He went to do his thing, whatever, get ready to go. He came back to get his burrito. He started freaking out. He's like, "Where's my burrito? Who ate my burrito?" Freaking out over his burrito. It was gone. Literally, it was gone. Nobody ate his freaking burrito. He left. He left all mad, blaming us all for doing something with his burrito. And I kid you not, an hour later, another kid went into the microwave to pop some popcorn, and that burrito was in there. But that burrito was not in there when he went to get it. And that is the truth.
Okay, that's a creep factor.
That's kind of that's.
But you know what? Let me tell you something. His mom ended up eating that burrito, and she said it was warm.
Oh, come on.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Ah.
I got one.
I'm telling you, we have glitches in the matrix every once in a while. I'm just saying.
There's got to be a
feel that way,
glitch.
and I think
Yeah.
that was the idea.
That was a glitch. That story right there, Tex, you're right. That sounds just like a glitch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like he looked in there and it wasn't in there.
That was an hour later, and she said it was still warm.
Yeah.
Man,
That's on it.
wow. I got one brief one similar to Brandy's, and we'll move on. I've only said we'll move on 20 times now, but okay. When I was married, my wife, ex-wife, she lost her wedding ring. Okay. And I'm like, oh man, whatever. So we went down, filed a claim, got the insurance money, got a new ring, the whole 9 yards, could never find the ring. 2 years later, in the bathroom, she's going through, and she always refreshes all like these potpourri bowls and dishes.
Potpourri.
Potpourri. Going through one of the, doing that. And mind you, has been doing this all the time, refreshing everything. It was at the bottom of one of the dishes. Her ring, the original ring. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I said, well, we made it out. So what do I do with the other ring? Go sell it?
Right.
which we did.
Wow.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, that was crazy. But that wasn't paranormal. That was just dumb stuff, you know.
It was luck finding it.
Luck we found. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Well, we better move on to the next story because
Yeah, I know we can go all over. We'll let's go. Here is let's see which one I want to do. Well, we're gonna keep it. Oh, the paranormal. Okay, yeah, this is something that's creepy to me, anyways. Let me and you guys know me, and I do not like these things.
oh,
Yeah, that's a creepy looking one.
That is,
and it's not even the eyeball; it's the teeth for me.
yeah,
just thinking the
no,
same
it is
thing,
the
Brandy.
teeth.
Yeah.
The
Them teeth
teeth
look a little sharp.
and that little upturned
Yeah.
top lip
So
there.
Victorian.
Yeah, no, it's the teeth for me. It's the teeth. Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Now, here's the thing about this one. Paranormal investigator fills own home with collections of the macabre. Her collection, I don't know what her name is. I'll read the article. Oh, I can see it. Her collection is unusual to say the least, and they showed a bunch of pictures. 33-year-old Rebecca Galantine has attracted quite a following online thanks to her unusual taste in collectibles. Galantine, who lives in Connecticut, gained a fascination with the paranormal and the macabre at a young age and has spent many years growing a sizable collection of unnerving objects. I have deeply personal pieces that feel like they have a soul, she said. It's not driven by value. Each piece came from a person who lived, and it represented them as a person. Such pieces include bags of human teeth, cursed dolls, used coffins, toe tags from morgues. Yeah. There's so much personal history from people who live normal lives that have essentially been wiped from history, she said, and I want to collect and keep them alive. I feel their souls. Galantine's unusual collection has certainly proved popular as she now has over 800,000 followers on TikTok and other various platforms. We have an allegedly haunted wheelchair from a hospital, she said. The person who gave it to me didn't want it in their house. I bought a memorial piece for a baby who died in 1906 for $8 at an auction.
Oh,
I also have a chain of human hair from a guy who was in prison for murder. He made the chain from the victim's wife's hair. And it goes on, and I stopped there because you talk about some bizarre ass stuff, man. That's beyond bizarre. That was like more. What type of person does this, guys?
Well, I will tell you, the Haunted Castle House in Brumley, Missouri has some weird, morbid items very similar to that. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's asking for trouble.
I agree.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, that's definitely going to bring some voodoo magic.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those items are a little too personal. You know what I mean?
Human hair alone, I don't think people should have, like, not like people they don't know. I get, your baby's first haircut, save that. I get that, but not from a dead person.
No.
Teeth. I mean, teeth.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Who's got teeth? Someone's teeth tan out.
Well, even people
I
that
got my baby's kids' teeth.
Well, yeah.
Because the tooth fairy gave them to me when the kids.
Why would
I told the kids.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I'm not going to try to sell somebody else's baby teeth.
Oh,
yeah.
no,
You know what I mean?
That stuff goes away. The kids don't even want that. It's like.
But the hair thing, there was a time where they would use real hair for dolls sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And that always kind of freaked me out because that's a piece of somebody. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, it may be dead skin cells. I get it, but it's still a piece of somebody. And I feel like that is asking for trouble having
Agreed.
those.
So
Even
let me
people that
ask
have
y'all
bones and skulls and stuff like that
Let-
too. I
let me
think
ask
that's
y'all this.
asking for trouble.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let, so let,
I
let,
wouldn't
let me
want
ask
none of
y'all
that.
this.
Go ahead.
I want
Seth.
your opinion because I thought about, and I don't know if you can do this or not, but I thought about having all my tattoos removed when I die and having the skin tanned so my family could have my tattoos on the wall.
Oh boy.
No, Jax.
No,
I don't know about
No.
that.
Are
No.
you? Was it a serious thought that you've
No.
had?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
serious.
no, absolutely not. No, because something is screaming to me, Silence of the Lambs here.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Something's
Bingo.
It's screaming that to
No
me.
lampshade. No.
Yeah. You think you're getting a big no from all four of us?
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's a
Nick.
no.
Can't
I mean, you
go
could
with
do
that,
something
bro.
nice, like you could do the eco thing and be buried with a tree that will sprout, and you'll be, your body will feed the tree, or you could be.
Yourself in the woods.
They were doing the thing where they were
Yeah,
making
yeah,
gemstones from people's, remains and things. I mean, you could do stuff like that if you want to give your family something, but no.
Yeah, you might as well just taxidermy yourself then. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, it's kind of
I
like
feel
it
right.
puts the
Yeah.
lotion on its skin thing,
I'd be
no.
okay with that. Just prop me up against the jukebox like the song says.
There you go. With a mic in his hand.
There you go.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, yeah, what compels someone to do what this woman did has got to be a bizarre person to be.
Somebody like Tex, obviously.
Well,
I just,
hey, at least Texas, it's his own personal body. He's not collecting
True.
dead.
That's
folk
very true.
meat.
I mean, but some people do collect oddities and curiosities. They have a whole expo in St. Louis about it.
Yeah,
And
And I
well,
mean, this thing is so packed all the time that they have you have to buy tickets to go, but you have a specific time you can go. That there's so many people and they only let them in so often.
Yeah.
During the day to go and see all this stuff. And I'm like, no, I no. Can you
See,
imagine
I'd
the frequency and vibes that are flying around that place? Oh gosh, no, thank
Yeah,
you.
I'd want to go though. I'd like to see that kind of stuff.
I like
That's
freak show at the
stuff that
circus.
interests me.
Right.
Right. Well, and like Kathy said, freak show. That's basically what it is. But you can buy these things. Yeah.
It's kind of like if I were to pass away and get cremated and send you all a vial of my ashes and say, when are you get a chance, just smoke me?
Ashes don't burn though.
All right,
They're done.
Grab it with your
Now,
favorite leaf. I don't know.
if you said sprinkle me around somewhere.
Well, yeah, but no, I'm saying that's how crazy that is. I would never do that, of course.
Well,
but
if you wanted me to do that for you, Rob, now I would sprinkle
me
you
around.
somewhere.
Well, yeah,
I promise you, I'll sprinkle
not
you
everybody
somewhere.
does. I sprinkle.
What how about somebody sent you if somebody sent you their ashes and they smudge your house with it?
Yeah, sure. Well, it depends.
No. No.
No, why is that? You might bring
You
some
can do it because
bad
the ashes
stuff
don't burn.
They don't burn.
Oh, yeah,
So
right.
it would just be like
No, yeah, come on.
Be
I know
just
it's
like
late.
taking a
blowing.
campfire ashes and throwing around your house,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
It's something I don't want to do.
Ashes.
But it's still, I it's something about that. It's just asking for something.
Well, I mean, smudging someone else's. I mean,
Yeah, unless you were somebody very holy. I guess I don't know. I mean, I still would do it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. That's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it is. How we get on this? I don't know. But
I don't know.
that last.
Thank
Tex
you,
started
Tebow.
Tebow. 5 new players. Hey, we've got what we got? You guys are all right tonight. Love you. We got 5, 10, 15 new pirates tonight.
Arr.
Arr, man.
Yeah.
Arr. Enjoy. Enjoy Robbie's ashes when y'all get sick.
Just
you see what-
no.
You
Just
see what,
I'm not doing that. Of course, I'm being joking, but that's
did y'all see what Amy put on here?
no.
She says, anybody else read about the dudes who stole from a drug dealer and snorted what they thought was a drug, but turned out to be someone's ashes?
Oh well.
oh no, gosh.
Well, there you-
Amy. Oh, that was a bad visual. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, you're right though. You could snort ashes.
And they were
versus
probably
smoke.
complaining because they got gypped. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Probably started bleeding like a
Mom
sieve.
didn't give the high.
Right.
That was some bad stuff.
No.
Right?
Donnie's on a roll tonight. Thanks,
Oh.
Donnie. When I
Donnie, why don't you go over to the porch and throw some super thanks my way while you're throwing that money around?
when Donnie says, when I pass, I would like for my ashes to be shoved up an extraterrestrial's ass.
Wazoo.
The
Up there,
wazoo.
wazoo.
Yeah, Donnie. Donnie Show says stuff.
He does.
9:30 Saturday nights. Check him out.
He's not for the weak. Just saying. He is not for the weak.
No, it's definitely R-rated.
Definitely.
Hello, Michelle. Oh, there we go. So anyway,
Oh,
that
God, made me choke up on that one. Whew.
I can't seem
Okay.
to get off of this thing here. Thanks, Donnie Show. I can't seem to. Okay. So what else do I have here? Okay. Again, this has all been paranormal tonight. Just the way it worked out. Possessed children
Go.
reportedly walk up the walls.
Hmm.
August 15th, 2022. So this is actually kind of old. I don't know how I screwed that up. Thank you.
Read that one.
Sir Brian, thanks, buddy. My friend Mike was the only American blown up in the London bombing. Some of us got his ashes, and they rolled
And rolled a cigarette.
rolled a funny cigarette and smoked him at his own service. And they rolled the substance and smoked him at his own service. Well, there you have it.
Okay.
Well, there you have it. Thank you, Sir Brian. He'll be a featured speaker the 19th and 20th.
I guess that gives new meaning to Up in Smoke.
Yes,
Yes,
it does. It really does.
So the little
It's a great way to go out, though. Like, I mean, what do you need it for? Like, you're dead. So if you want to smoke me, go ahead and smoke me.
Yeah. And I just kind of just threw that out there and kind of half-ass made it up, and this actually goes on, right?
And let me just tell you, I'm not doing it for any of you. I'm just not. I'm not. No. Thank you, but no. Like I said, I'll sprinkle you somewhere, but that's
Very good.
where we're gonna go with that.
Very good.
I just wish Donnie would sprinkle some of that money he's throwing out there tonight over on the porch.
You don't catch him on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta catch Donnie when he's on a roll.
Yeah, I need to start hitting him up on a late Saturday night. Say, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Donnie Show says stuff. Thanks, you guys, for all these donations. You guys rock. Okay, going back to this, could the children have been possessed, or was this something else going on? Official state documents detail the peculiar case of a triple possession that occurred in Indiana back in 2014. Tales of demonic possession might seem like little more than fictional stories found in books and movies, but there have been a number of documented cases over the years that, while inconclusive, certainly make you wonder where there really could be something unnatural going on. In this particular instance, a mother from Indiana had reported that her 3 children were possessed and had been exhibiting all the manners of a disturbing and seemingly impossible behaviors, ranging from speaking in deep voices to levitating and walking up the walls of their bedroom. While such claims might sound ridiculous and easily dismissible as nonsense, these phenomena were allegedly observed by a number of reputable individuals, including police officers and even medical professionals. The case was recorded in official state documents, which reported that at least one psychologist had witnessed the woman's 9-year-old son speak in different deep voices and walk up the wall backwards. Medical staff reported they observed the children and heard the 7-year-old making growling noises and rolled his eyes back black over in the back of his head, says the report. They observed the third boy lifted and thrown into the wall with nobody touching him. He had the weird grin on his face and began to walk backwards while his grandmother was holding his hand, and he walked up the wall backwards while holding grandmother with him. He never let go. He flipped over and landed on his feet in front of the grandmother and sat down in his chair. Some doubts exist over the nature of these phenomena. However, as it was also reported that the mother had been suffering from mental illness and the children may have been performing for. All in all, the children were taken away by child services, and the one child, it says the eldest of the three, 2 years later ended up walking in front of a bus and got, well, deceased.
Oh my goodness.
Unalive. First of all, when I was reading that, and it sounds to me like something right out of Linda Blair, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Or any other movie. So we take that for what it is. But I will ask you guys, that stuff happens.
Yes.
Does it not? Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Although I'd be curious as to how old all the kids are, because like young kids, they're protected. They can't be possessed.
They can be used.
Wow, thanks, Josh.
They can be used against the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Made
to knock it out of the park.
Stuff, but the younger ones, they're protected.
Mm-hmm. They are. So,
well,
I'd be curious as to how old these kids are.
Mm-hmm.
Today, well, this is 10, 7, and 9, I think I read, if I remember correctly, 2019.
Okay, so I've been doing a little bit of searching around on the subject, not a whole lot, but a long time ago, I read a story about these children who attended a private school in Peru, and it was like mass hysteria. One child began to exhibit signs of being possessed. Now, they didn't give the ages of these children, and then more children at the same time seemed to be coming down with the same type of behaviors.
Like Salem.
And they're going over and over and over it. And they're trying to figure out if these children were truly possessed or it was like a mass hysteria.
Right.
Like, or just something triggered them to do that, such as one child started acting like that. So another child started acting like that. And then another
feeding
child.
Off of each other.
Feeding off of each other. Exactly. And so there's not a whole, there's some on the children of Peru, but that is a story that you need to go back and read, or, because it's very strange. And it wasn't just a few children. It was quite a few children that started coming down and convulsing and speaking in languages that they didn't even know and all kinds of things. So, You just have to wonder if one child is acting out, will the others follow?
Right. And then you have the mother feeding it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because if she's saying, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like she said, exactly what happened.
What happened in Salem.
Yeah. The witch trials.
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say. It's the same thing that happened with the whole
witch trials.
Right,
Yeah.
because she
Yeah.
could be on the phone saying so and so's eyes rolled back in his head. Next thing you know, he's going to be climbing the walls. Guess what
Right.
happens?
Yeah.
He's going to
Yeah.
be climbing the walls.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is she promoting the behavior?
Yeah, and see, to me, 7 years old, that's just too young to be possessed.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
have the free will yet at 7 years old.
No.
So
I know,
I don't.
but they
I don't
can be
believe-
tortured.
Right.
They can be
A
tortured.
demonic entity can use that child to torture.
Yes.
To
and
get the
scare
parents.
the parents, but it's not a permanent
Well,
thing. It's just
let me
something-
ask you this. Let me throw this in
Correct.
there. Let me throw this in there at you. So, what about these kids that are as young as 9 and 10 that brutally murder somebody?
See, that's where I don't know.
See,
That's-
so I have to tell you, Tex, I know I've told you about the foster kid I had. Like,
Right.
and Kathy can attest, she knew this kid. Like, honestly, if there was a kid that's going to be a serial killer,
It was
that's him.
Yeah.
And he
I-
would
I
kill
think- I
animals,
think they're-
even frogs.
Yeah, I think I don't think
So-
they're born with all of the right mental
I think a lot of
capabilities to know right from wrong.
Right.
Well, I think a lot of it comes from their childhood too.
Mhm.
And if they have
Absolutely.
like that reactive attachment disorder, no one paid one bit of attention to them as an infant, and they did not bond.
Right.
And when you bond with your parents, when you're as a tiny infant and on, that's where you learn empathy and all of those types of things. And if you're put in a playpen and ignored for most of the time, and that goes on a lot. And I've seen kids at school like that.
Yeah, she was a teacher.
And they would come through and you just go, there's no soul. There's no soul. And
Yeah.
there's no fear or remorse,
And
they
this
just think
kid,
it's funny.
that I had for
He was
foster care.
exactly like that.
Yeah, it was like he didn't have a soul.
Well, we could take this. We can take this to a different page now. What about Gypsy Rose, Munchausen by proxy?
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
What if the mother was trying to gain attention, but she had to gain it through her children?
Right.
So she kind of made her children like believe that there was something wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Oh yeah. There's
Maybe.
all kind of heinous things that people do.
Yeah.
I don't think that all three of her children were possessed.
I don't either. Too
I
young.
didn't hear that story before. Gypsy Rose.
You need to look it up. It's a whole deal.
It's a whole thing. The
Yeah,
mother,
okay.
the mother made the child believe that she was sick and had all of these diseases, including cancer. Had her in a wheelchair. There was nothing wrong
Really?
with this child. There was nothing wrong with this child.
Munchausen
But the
thing?
child was
Not
the child would believe it was sick.
Yeah.
not just a kid. She convinced doctors
Yeah, she convinced
to
doctors
give
that
her
her child was sick.
treatments for these diseases.
And did this
Yeah.
kid feel sick though?
This
Well,
kid, when
yeah.
she ended up being sick, she lost a lot of her
She was
teeth.
brainwashed into thinking
Yeah.
He was
she was
brainwashed into sickness. He was a
She was
dude.
on. She was
Basically
on-
stressing
she
the
was in a
child out.
wheelchair.
Yeah.
She was in a wheelchair and a feeding tube for years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
And
heard this before.
she ended up killing her mother
Yes.
Oh,
and
well.
went to prison
Yes.
for it. But she's out now.
She's out now. I don't think
No.
I don't think she's right now. I don't think she'll ever be right because of everything that
Nope.
happened to her. But
No.
that's what I was talking about with this story, is that maybe the mother was doing this to her children without realizing what she was doing. Who knows? But
I
like I
think
said,
it
I don't think there was a demon trying to possess her and going after the children.
I
I
don't
think
either.
this was her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, there's documented cases. There's a name for all of that stuff too.
Mhm.
Let me ask you guys this. I mean, I think we all believe that evil can possess a body. I think we all pretty much believe that.
Yep.
But my thing is though, which I mean, and I'm into, I do like the exorcism type genre. I mean, I still can't watch. I finally did watch the one with Linda Blair during the daytime. after many years. I did. It was like
You're in the daytime.
it was 12 o'clock, and I had all the windows open. It was lights all around. I watched it. I did. Then the Emily Rose one freaked me out. I should not have watched that one.
Yeah, that
That
was a
was
little
from
weird too.
Michigan. But let me ask you, what happened? What would possess evil to take over a soul or a body? I mean, why does that even happen? I mean, I get evil's evil, but is it like a random thing? They pick anybody, or is there something?
It finds people when they're at their weakest, like the demonic case you guys have heard me talk about. Kathy was with me when that one took place. And that guy, he was in prison for many years for murder. He was an M13 gang member. She was a survivor from the BTK killer. She was a prostitute, an ex-prostitute. She lost all of her children. So, I mean, that is just a recipe for disaster right there.
Yep.
All the negativity. Their house was dark and dank and just.
And mom,
Yeah.
quite right.
Mom wasn't right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you got to think of it this way. Yeah, a demonic presence is not going to take over your body immediately.
nope.
It's not. It's slow. It's methodical. It sits and it waits and just picks and picks and picks until it gets you to the spot where it says, "Okay, you're ready for me now."
Yeah,
That's all it does.
But don't you guys think that a demonic presence can take over a strong-willed person versus a weak-minded person as well, though? Could happen to anybody. It could happen to any of us here.
So it can happen to anybody, absolutely. And the demonic, they are patient. Like they know, since we've dealt with the demonic cases, like they know us. And so, we're marked. So when we could be at our worst or our lowest point in our life, that's when they will jump in. They are
They'll go knock on Krista's door. Sure.
Yeah. So like I pray and stuff all the time and, keep protection around and stuff because I know I can be a target very easily.
And your family.
Yes.
And your family. Yeah. Because if they get to you, they'll go after your family or your
We
dog.
going after the kids, maybe to get to the parents and all the effect the parents go through the kids.
Correct.
That's the biggest
Yes.
worry for any parent. And
Yeah.
that's demonic, anything that happens to your kids in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, they're not gonna pick on Krista right now.
No.
If they were gonna pick on Krista, they're gonna wait till she's, dwindling down. She's getting lower. Her self-esteem's down. Who knows what the problems, would be in that circumstance? Who knows? But they're gonna wait, and then they're gonna keep picking and picking at her and picking at her till she can't go any lower. And then they're going to come in. They're not going to pick at her right now. They're not going to pick at Kathy right now.
Yeah.
But do you think that looking back at this, and you guys said it's a slow, methodic process. Do you think that? So I'm thinking this now.
It starts out as just a regular haunting,
The
door might open and shut. It starts out just like a basic haunting.
What I'm thinking is
Pretty rare event, though.
I'm thinking that every person, millions of people are probably picked on each and every single day until they find the right person that finally gives in, probably.
Oh, yeah. You have to give it permission.
She's right.
You have to invite it in.
But they take that ice pick and they hit that cube and they nod and they click it away before you just give up and give permission inadvertently, probably.
Yeah.
Especially like if something's tormenting your children or your pet. Leave my kid alone and do it to me. Well, hello, you just invited it. Or even as simple as we've all talked about it, putting a welcome mat out in front of your house.
Yeah, we talked about that. Hey, I'd also would be very irritated with myself if we didn't at least talk about where you guys are. You've been at the Ray County Museum here? That's where these two are, everybody, for joining lately, Kathy and Krista. Anything you guys come across, anything little that you can share with us today, or has it been business as usual?
Well, it was actually, so we have a group of attendees here, and I'm here with mine and Brandi's paranormal group. And we started out up on the third floor and we put out a REM pod and a music box and a bell in different locations. And we were getting intelligent answers. So we would tell it to ring the bell. It would ring the bell, or it would do the REM pod. And then we got questions like, we asked, are you a man? And it rang the bell. Are you over 30? It rang the bell. And then I asked, were you here with the poor farm? When it was a poor farm, nothing happened. And then I said, were you here when it was a nursing home? And the bell rang. So yeah, we were getting some really intelligent answers. And so they went downstairs. The whole group was downstairs doing the Phasma box. And so I'm not sure what happened yet. When we're done here, I'm going to go check everybody out.
That sounds pretty cool. Now that third floor is where myself and Aaron spent the night.
Right.
And we don't care. We can sleep anywhere there. But 20 minutes in, her and I just got laid down, and we're just laying there. About 20 minutes in, after it all went quiet, we heard this loud crash. And everybody in the whole building should have heard that, but only Aaron and I heard it. Yeah, and we caught it on audio. So very strange. It's a very strange place.
Yeah,
I mean, that place can isolate you real quick. You know?
I've heard things like crash and you think something's falling off a wall, a big clock or something, and you go look every place and you can't find it.
You can't find it.
Nobody outside and there's nothing going on. You know, we're generally not in a real active area here. You know, it's kind of isolated a little bit. And I'm telling you, you never know.
Well,
like
Nikki, Nikki G's in chat. She says, yeah, that's a crazy night. So
this place is pretty active. It doesn't disappoint.
We're doing a ghost hunt.
Yes, we're doing the ghost hunt.
I knew that. I just asked for everybody watching.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you're in for a treat there, Rob. You're in for a treat.
Great.
Yeah. Casto said he will be there. Can't wait.
Casto.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't do that here.
We just got to keep Jason out of the building.
Yes.
Jason is not allowed in the building.
Jason, definitely. He is. What's his name? He is the. What's that? He's the Van Helsing. No, who's the? Well, he was not the professor. He was the one who kept all the demons away in these movies.
He's like paranormal repellent.
He's the repellent.
Yes. Paranormal repellent.
He's the paranormal repellent. He is not allowed to go in the building.
Who's this?
Jason.
Oh.
Jason McLean.
Yeah, he's not allowed. So just let everybody know out there, if you see Jason trying to sneak in, you catch him and tell him no.
Amy asked, Rob, is this going to be your first ghost hunt?
Official ghost hunt, yeah. I did one many years ago at the Eloise Asylum before it became popular. Which was creepy. I got pictures. Remember I told you guys we
talked about that.
And there was a ghost on one of the gurneys.
Right.
All the pictures. Yeah. That was what I was involved in that. Yeah. I didn't take the picture.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Eloise and I'm surprised I never went. Even just to sneak in.
Yeah. Well, it was easy to sneak in. We went in the tunnels. Well, we went over the barbed wire fence and stuff. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, see?
Breaking and entering, Rob.
Well, that's how we had to do a lot of it back in the day. We had to do a lot of that. Yeah. You know, and we had to sneak in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places we had, because there is, and I've got a magazine that actually has this picture, but there is this cemetery that is very well known for a statue that it has. And it's a bunch of children playing Crack the Whip. And it is said to come alive at night, and you start hearing kids playing, you hear them running, you hear all of this stuff, and you hear them play Crack the Whip. And I've sat there for quite a long time now. I did hear kids giggling briefly, maybe once or twice, but I didn't hear all that, all that going on. But it came up into one of the most haunted cemeteries in America. And I've got the magazine and it's in there. And I was like, isn't that kind of cool? But I never heard it. And I mean, we used to sit out there for hours trying to hear anything. Excuse me. Back in high school, but I mean, we had to sneak in.
Yeah.
That's always the best, the most fun. You have to sneak in somewhere.
It's the anticipation. And then the excitement of you're gonna get caught. So everybody's
the
like sneaking,
excitement of
wearing black out there, putting black hats on and stuff.
you're trying to be all stealthy. You know
Yeah,
that if
because
you get caught, you don't know
yeah,
what
and the
these-
cars go by, and then everybody lays down real
Oh
flat,
yeah,
so nobody
right.
moves.
That's
Yeah.
that's as exciting as finding a ghost.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, my guest Monday night, our Sandy and Andy Emmons met them at the San Antonio conference, and they give the ghost tours there in San Antonio at some of the really, really haunted Victorian places. So they're going to be my guest on the porch.
That's gonna be cool.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
I
Man.
figured
We're gonna be talking spooky stuff on Monday.
Oh, nice. Well, that's great. Something spooky on the porch. Before we go, you guys, I do want to thank Keith, Intergalactic Wrangler, Scott, Donnie Cho, Mr. Castro, Keith again, T-Bone, Donnie Cho again, Sir Brian, Mr. Castro, for very generous tonight, everybody. Thank you so much. Tons of different pirates, and certainly the donations were more than I've gotten. And it's love you guys. Thank you so much. Not expected.
Yep.
Always appreciated.
Always.
And that's fantastic of you guys. I appreciate that, and we all do whenever you do these things. So yeah. So Tex, Monday you got that going on. Today's Sunday. So Tuesday, I forgot Brandi. Oh, Krista and I have Barb Hartman on. And then what's the blondes? Anything? What cool stuff you guys got?
I'll tell you here in just a minute.
Well,
We have
Wednesday
Keith
night,
from
I guess
Michigan.
we're gonna talk water.
I'm sorry. I always forget the Wednesday show. I'm sorry.
Wednesday show, paranormal
Wednesday.
show and tell.
Yeah.
We're talking about water monsters.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're gonna talk water monsters.
And then we have Keith from Michigan. He's going to be on our show.
Oh,
nice
yeah, Keith
dog,
from
man.
Michigan.
Keith!
Cool.
Someday.
Paranormal. The water monsters on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, water monsters on Wednesday.
Man, I'm gonna tune into that one. We got water.
I've got
I went there.
on Southern Bell Bigfoot tomorrow. We're interviewing David Eller. He's a cryptozoologist author. So yeah, it's gonna be
Oh,
good.
cool. Cool. We got something every day of the week. Just stay
we do.
tuned to the Island of Misfit Toys.
Yes.
We got something every day, everybody. So
And that's the thing, you guys. Just turn on the alert bell. Turn on the alert bell.
it is absolutely something new every day.
There's
And if you haven't seen the short that I posted right when the show started, go over and check it out. Somebody texted me a Bigfoot track out of Oklahoma, and it's a good one. Go take a
Oh
look.
yeah,
Nice.
I seen that, Tex. In fact, you showed it to us. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
it's fantastic. This was a great show, Brandi. It's been forever, girl. Thank you, for gracing us with your presence.
Well, you know what? I should be on more often now. I mean, I may have a little thing or to do every now and again, but I should be.
Well, yeah, a little thing, but it's about your scheduling is finally back to like somewhat normal. Right?
Somewhat, yes.
I said somewhat, very lightly.
Right.
So awesome to see you.
But it feels good to
Kathy.
be back on.
Kathy, great to see you.
Great to see you all. Thank you for letting me crash the party.
And of
But
course,
that's all right.
yeah, anytime. Always well, Chris, it's always great to see you. And Tex, great to see you because I don't have a co-host anymore on brunch because Tex is again once with this job of his.
Yes.
Always a monkey wrench along. We can't go one full year without jumbling the lineups.
I know, because before Tex came back and was doing that, I was doing it with you when I could.
Yeah.
And then Tex was, doing it before that. I'm like, what I don't know. I don't know.
It's cool. We're interchangeable.
That's right. That's right.
We're like, one part, greases the other part, I guess. If that's
right.
When I get back on nights, I'm going to start doing the waking up weird again. So
There you go.
Well, see,
and you'll also see the night owls coming back too.
The night owl, yeah. Well, definitely take care of that voice because that night owl voice It's really quite creepy.
He needs some hot tea and some honey.
Yeah.
Sleep, so he's
Hey, but you know what, Brandi? There's for everybody, especially when you talk as much as we do. I've been taking a teaspoon of straight honey.
Raw.
Like
raw honey.
Now, and man, your throat it's like lubricated with Valvoline oil.
Yeah. Well, right.
Yeah.
Well, raw honey is actually good for your body too. So
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Especially if you can get it from your local area.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't do it very often, but I do.
Yeah, I don't like honey.
I love honey.
I think it's okay. I put it out. Well, that's another show. I use that as one of the ingredients when I do my baby back ribs.
I basted my baby backs with butter honey the other day.
I use butter, honey, and I use my rub. Well, that's another show, you guys.
Yeah, you got to stop. You're making me hungry, and I don't need to eat right now.
You want to eat at 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning? Yeah.
I don't need to, unless I've been out and I go to the Waffle House. That's probably about the only time that I eat.
And we got to let Krista and Kathy get out, do some ghost hunting. So we are going to end this. Thank you for the super chats, the pirates. Subscribe if you're new, everybody. Hit the like and leave a comment. For Brandi, Krista, Kathy, Tex, I'm BMR. We're out.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.
This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks. With an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.